Okay, welcome PK families. Welcome to our Student and Family Services webinar. And today we are going to focus on middle school programming for the 2021-2022 school year. And our goal for this webinar is for families to feel informed about our middle grades program, process and timelines for scheduling of courses for next school year. And today we are joined by the fabulous Mrs. Madison Schmidt. She's our spectacular middle grade school counselor. And we also have our Director of Program Development and Outreach with us, Ms. Christy Gabbard. She is at lunch duty right now. So she is actually sitting as an attendee, which means she's not up front here on the webinar, but she'll be involved in the chat if we have questions for her. If you do have questions, by the way, throughout the webinar, you can just type them into the Q&A. There's a little Q&A section down at the bottom of your Zoom screen, or you can type them in the chat box and we'll answer them as we go, and we'll also take time at the end of the webinar to answer them. All right, so I'm going to pass it over to Miss Schmidt.
Hello, everybody. So nice to have you here. So we're here to talk about middle school programming, and it's kind of crazy to be looking that far ahead. I feel like with this year, we've been able to go day by day, maybe week by week, or even maybe start thinking of month by month. But now we're starting to look real forward. We're looking towards next year, the planning starts. And so with that, I wanted to discuss the timeline. When will you have more information about scheduling, in particular, as it pertains to your specific student? So today I actually started off in Mr. Del Riego's class for current 7th grade students. And tomorrow I'll be in Mr. Courtney's class giving a presentation very similar to what you're going to be receiving today about for current 7th grade students. And then I'll start meeting individually with them as well, and we'll talk more about their specific classes. So that's today and tomorrow. And then after spring break on is when more conversations in a larger group setting, like classroom size setting, will occur for for rising 6th and 7th grade students. So meaning current PK 5th grade students and current PK 6th grade students. And then more information will come from there as we go on. And we can see there's some other important future dates and deadlines on this slide as well. So May 10th at 3 p.m., we're going to talk a little bit more about Florida virtual school classes. That is the deadline for our Florida virtual school contract to be a part of the PK Yonge Virtual Academy if you want to take an online course. So I'd mark that in your calendar just to be aware of the deadline. If we don't have the contract in by that time for current PK Yonge students, then we're not able to have it for next school year. If you are watching this and you know you're going to be a new to PK Yonge student, so you're not a current PK student, there will be a different time, a different deadline for you to let me know that you're interested in an online course. We also see this deadline, May 27th, that's the last day of school. So as we talk about the schedule for your students, if things change throughout the rest of the school year, just let me know. That's when accommodations we can make happen more easily. But as it gets to summer, that I'm also going to have some time where I'm not working, and so we won't be able to get connected as easily and be able to make that change. So please keep me informed up to that last day of the school year for any changes for next school year. And then lastly, this August 10th date. So that's the first day of school, next school, and that's when the schedules come out. And so you'll be able to see in Skyward the schedule, as well as a printed copy is provided to students on the first day of the school. And that's tradition from previous years that PK Yonge has had. Okay, let's move on forward. So Last year, we talked a lot about this big switch to 4x4, and we're here and we're doing it. We have our new 4x4 schedule, and that's going to continue. It's here to stay, and it's continuing on for next year. But for those who are maybe new to middle school, and so it's going to be a change for you, or new to PK, it looks different than maybe some other schools where there's 4 courses in the fall and 4 courses in the spring. And you'll have 2 to 3 electives on your schedule. However, there's a couple courses that are year long, and those exceptions are math and band that are year-long courses. On the right, you can see an example of what a middle school student schedule could look like. I'm just to get an idea. Hopefully it'll make more sense as we continue through this presentation. Started with 6th grade, new to middle school students. So 6th grade students will take these classes on their schedule. So language arts, science, math, world cultures, and PE. All of those courses will be on their schedule. As we can point out, as previously mentioned, math is 2 terms, meaning it exists in the fall term as well as the spring term. The other courses listed are 1 term in the length of time, so it'll happen in the fall or the spring, but not both. Okay, here's another look at an example of what a 6th grade student schedule could look like. So we have the language arts, the world cultures, that's the social studies course. Math's year long, so we see it in both fall and spring. We have science, and then indicated in orange are elective courses that are on their schedule.
So Madison, we have a question about 6th grade. So
Mhm.
are incoming 6th graders included in the virtual learning option?
And the virtual learning, meaning if you're referring to taking an online course through FLVS as one of the courses during your school day, yes, that's going to be available to all students, whether you're going to be new to PK or whether you are currently a PK Young student. That deadline listed May 10th, that's for current PK Young students to return the contract to me. Oftentimes I connect with new to PK Young families towards the end of the school year, or even in the very the first week after the school year ends. And so there'll be more communication that comes out about when you will have to inform me of wanting to take an online course. The contract date will be different, but you of course are included and have the same options, whether you're new or whether you're a current student or family.
All right, thanks.
Okay, so let's talk about 7th grade. We're going to touch base on the 6th and 7th grade electives together. So first we're going through the program courses. All right, so if you're a 7th grade student, you will be taking these classes. So you'll have an English course, a language arts course, a 7th grade science course. You'll have 2 classes of math. So 7th grade math and 7th grade advanced math. Civics is your social studies course, and PE. And just to touch base back on 6th grade, it follows the same pattern for 6th grade for math. So it's 6th grade math and then 6th grade advanced math. Just like 7th grade math, 7th grade advanced math. All right, another example of what a schedule could look like. You can see here, band is one of those exceptions where it's a year-long course. So in this instance, if a student had this schedule, they only have 2 electives instead of 3 that was previously on the example. Okay, now to those exploratory classes for 6th and 7th grade. So at PK, we see the 6th and 7th grade time to be for exploration, trying new and different courses that you might not have chosen for yourself. And it helps expose you to a widespread curriculum that allows you to determine new interests. With that being said, so to choose your exploratory courses, the choice isn't necessarily there for all of those classes. Since it's a time for exploration, we do have a wheel of exploratory classes for 6th and 7th grade students that will partake in, that's randomly assigned to them. So you don't have to let me know, I want to be in computer science or I want to be in engineering. You will experience all of those within 6th or 7th grade. Just the order might look different depending on what you have first.
So Madison, in terms of PE,
Mhm.
how does that relate to these exploratory classes? And is it possible to take another elective besides PE?
Great question. PE is a required course. However, there is a waiver, and more information is going to be listed once we have posted this recording on the website. I can link some of the forms and and even these slides in the recording on our Student Family Services website that will provide that information about PE. It is a part of our core programming for 6th and 7th grade. However, there is a waiver. And regarding you can see here, there is an interest survey for 6th and 7th grade that will be sent out to students that will let me know if they're interested in taking band, performing arts, or this is a new course we're going to be having. It's called First Lego League. This survey does not guarantee placement in the course. However, it lets me know that you would like to be in the course, and if seats and availability and it works out in the schedule, then we'll be able to make that happen. Now, to dive in more deeply into what those courses are, for the wheel classes, we can see engineering, computer science, art, project-based learning, STEAM. That's our wheel course. So if you are in 6th grade and you have engineering and computer science on your schedule as 2 of your electives, the 3rd being PE, then in 7th grade, you would have the other 2 courses you did not receive yet, meaning you would get art and project-based learning, STEAM. These other courses listed are the one I talked about that'd be included in the interest survey. And like I said, this is not a guarantee to let us know you are interested in the course. However, we do want to capture and be able to place students in those courses that are interested in taking them. Moving on to our 8th grade students. The classes that 8th grade students will be taking are language arts, science, math. Now math, there's a new opportunity that happens in math where you move from pre-algebra to Algebra 1 honors. And that's a high school credit course, Algebra 1 honors. So this is one of the first opportunities that a middle school student will have to be taking a high school level course. So that's how math works here. Then we go to US history and PE. Okay, so 8th grade electives work differently than 6th and 7th grade electives. Besides those 3 courses in 6th and 7th grade that you can let the school know you are interested in, courses get randomly assigned to you and you experience and explore the wealth of the curriculum in our wheel classes. And with that knowledge that you gained in 6th and 7th grade of the courses you're interested in and the fields you're interested in, and when you're going into 8th grade, you get to let the school know what your preferences are. What are the classes you want most that would just bring joy to you during the school day? And so what is happening even today, I am giving presentations in 7th grade and then meeting individually one-on-one with each 7th grade student. And this is this will occur for new to PK students, but later in the year. And also if you're a student or a family that is off campus, I'll be meeting with you on Zoom too. So everybody gets an individual meeting and you rank your choices 1 through 8. And that's how your schedule is built is based off of your rankings for your schedule. So what we can see listed here is digital design, project-based learning, STEAM, engineering, computer science, First Lego League, environmental science, intro to chemistry, performing arts, theater, chorus, Spanish 1, band, and art. Now we do see some markings next to a couple courses. So chorus, Spanish 1, and band, those are courses where there's both high school and middle school students present in the course. And Spanish 1 is also a high school credit course. So that's another opportunity that middle school students have to take a high school level course. However, if you are not able to have it on your schedule next year, then you still have 4 years in high school to complete that requirement for college.
So Madison, we have another question about PE real quick.
Mhm.
So does that mean that students only take PE once in either 6th or 7th, or do they take PE both years in 6th and 7th grade?
Thanks for clarifying that. That's a really good question. So it is a part of the program for 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. It occurs in each year of middle school.
Okay.
Okay, so I touched base on some of these questions here. So I'm starting in the classrooms already for the 7th grade students, and future communication will happen for new to PK Yonge families. And I really want this to be highlighted. Are they able to choose? I like to frame it as a wish list. You get to let us know your preferences, you get to rank the ones you want most, and it gets built around those rankings. However, your top choices are not guarantees. But that's what we shoot for, to give students what they want. So we're not against you. We want to give you what you want, but it's a little bit of a wish list here too. And some of you all might have already received emails if I've met with your students regarding their rankings. As I'm completing an electronic Google form, when meeting individually with the students, I'm capturing their guardian's email. Either the student provides it, or I use what is in Skyward if they're unaware of your email, and it sends you their responses live. And so it will send you what is listed now, but you have until the end of the school year to let me know if there's any changes in the rankings, and there'll be a more formalized letter that will go home as well. But I wanted to loop you all in as soon as possible, so you are seeing those responses live. Another example here of what a schedule could look like for an 8th grade student. We can see pre-algebra, then going into Algebra 1, that's high school credit course. And the electives on the schedule are art, theater, and PE. We talked a little bit about online courses and what that is. So we're going to go a little bit more in depth here. So our PK Yonge Virtual Academy means that you're taking an online FLVS course during the school day as one of your class periods. This replaces then one of the courses that we offer here at PK Yonge. What courses can you take? So those are listed on FLVS. You can see what courses they have on there. However, middle school students are permitted to only take elective courses, and only courses that we don't offer here at PK. I have seen students, the more common ones I've seen are different world languages that we do not offer. We have Spanish here. I've seen students take French, American Sign Language. Those are the more common ones that I've seen. Friendly reminder about that deadline, May 10th at 3 p.m. if you are interested in having your student take an online course. What it looks like if you're taking it during the school day is you go to a classroom that is supervised and you partake in completing your course on your Chromebook. And there might be other grade levels, high school students, middle school students who are also engaging in that work, but might be in other classes online, but you're working on your computer completing your course. There are firm deadlines for taking an online course in terms of the progress to complete the class. So as part of the contract, which will link online to the Family Student Services website where the webinar will be housed, it will have, by this date, you need to be this percentage of the way through the course, and it has to be completed by the end date, which is the last day of school, to continue having the opportunity to take an online course in the future. If you don't meet that deadline, then it does stop you from being able to take online courses in the future. So just something to keep in mind. And that covers middle school programming. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any individualized, personalized questions that you want to ask. My email is listed there as well as my office line. And if we have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay, here's a question, Madison. So can you take 2 performing arts courses to replace PE? We take performing arts now and have not had to take PE.
So with the switch to the 4x4 schedule, there are some occurrences where currently students don't have a PE on their schedule. However, moving forward, that is changing and it will be a part of students' schedule in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. However, for 8th grade students, I'm just going back to that listing for electives, you could have, because there's 3 spots for electives, you could have theater, chorus, and PE. You could have performing arts and chorus and PE, really an arrangement of those ones that are housed within the performing arts department. We are encouraging 8th grade students to partake in theater and chorus alternatively to performing arts. It's a little bit more focused on specific areas within the department. But you can still have 2 of those courses. It just doesn't replace PE.
All right. Are there any other questions? Can you talk a little bit more, Madison, about the PE waiver and what does that mean? What does it require?
So it's not yet posted on the website. And more information will come from it. We're discussing it a little bit more, so I don't want to overstep or say something that's inaccurate. But essentially, a guardian has to complete a waiver in order to not be required to have PE on their schedule. However, if it's part of their rankings PE and it's what is available in seats, like if they got their top 2 choices, but then the next one that their seats available is PE, it still could end up on their schedule. It just eliminates the requirement.
Okay. And so if you play a middle school sport, does that count instead of a PE?
That can be one of the criteria to meet the waiver, but it's not an automatic get out of jail free card in terms of PE.
Okay. And also, why is PE required now?
It's a state statute requirement.
All right. Let me see if there's any other questions. Feel free to put them in the Q&A or in the chat. All right. Seems, oh, we've got another one. Can you talk a little bit more about First Lego? What's that?
Ooh, good question. So First Lego League, it's a new course we're going to be offering. And if you're looking at me reading something, I'm just reading a little course description here. So it's a STEM-based course for hands-on learning and real-world problem-solving experiences through a guided global robotics program. And the goal of the course also works up to a local Lego League competition. So it's a competition team as part of the class.
Super fun. And this person is looking a little bit forward. Is American Sign Language offered in high school?
Good question. It is not offered as part of PK Yonge's program. However, it's accessible through FLVS to students in high school.
And what is FLVS?
Oh, good question. Florida Virtual School. So it's accessible to all families if you wanted to take it outside or in the summer as a courses that we don't offer at PK Yonge. That is also a possibility as well.
All right. All really good questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I love being able to just answer things live right here and have it captured and then be able to have other families be able to come back to this stuff. And so we have somebody who has their hand raised. Would you like to type what you would like to say in the chat or in the Q&A, or maybe the hand raise is an accident, but we'll just give that about 5 seconds to see. Okay, here it is. So you are able to take a Florida virtual class over the summer.
There is an opportunity to take Florida Virtual School class over the summer. Often though, I would like to talk to you more about it individually too, like what's the course? Is it a course we have at PK? Or is it a course that we don't have? And that's the reason why you would like to take the course. So there is that option, but I'd love to talk more individually with you about that. Oftentimes too, the time span that it has to be completed summer isn't that long compared to a full school year. And if it's a course that's needed to advance into another one, it might have to be completed prior to the start of the next school year. But all that stuff I would be happy to talk with you individually on to tell you more information about.
Okay, and then is there any way to have the courses that our child will be taking in the fall emailed to the parent?
Courses taken, tell the course that child will take in the fall, email to the parent. So this will all be available on, this is going to be posted on our Student Family Services website. And if you're referring to the 8th grade courses, that is going to be emailed to the parents as they complete their rankings. However, it's not their finalized schedule. It's just their 1 through 8. This is the course I want the most, and this is my 8th ranked course I want the most for my electives. If you want a finalized schedule, that does not come out until the first day of school, and it will be accessible to all families through their Skyward account.
Okay. And if a student takes band, they have no other elective option, such as art, unless a parent completes a waiver. Is that right?
With PE being a part of our programming, a waiver would have to be submitted in order to have an alternative course.
Okay, and is taking band for only 1 semester an option?
It is a year-round course. So if you are committing to be a part of our band, you're committing for the fall semester and for the spring semester.
Okay. Is there a way to get the schedule before the first day so that the student has time to figure out where their classes are? This family, the child has not yet attended in person and so doesn't know where classrooms are located.
Great question. And hopefully I will have It might be a different situation where we can have orientation either online or in person. And so some of those concerns about knowing where to go, especially never having stepping foot on campus, hopefully those will be resolved by the time we get to that point. A finalized schedule is not available till the first day. And however, we hope to be able to make sure you feel comfortable on campus before that. I know that this year, Miss Geiger, the learning community leader, and myself did make a tour of some few places around campus that I believe still posted online to give students acquainted to campus. And we do like to point students in the direction on the first day of school. They go to the cafeteria, and that's where all students go. And we make sure that they know where their next period class is. We make sure that they find their place here.
All right, and will rising 7th graders be included in any orientation for next year?
Great question. So talks of orientation haven't quite just happened yet. However, we want to make sure they're accessible to families. I know in previous years, there was a specific for 6th grade. However, last year we made it online recordings available to all families. But we'll keep that in mind moving forward to make sure that if for 7th grade families who might not have ever stepped foot on campus, we want to make sure you know where to go. And so we'll provide that information for middle school students.
All right, wonderful questions. Okay, so thank you, Madison and Christy, who's on lunch duty, but in the chat for this information about middle school programming for the 2021-2022 school year. And just a reminder to everyone, so this webinar, the recording of the webinar will be shared in tons of places for students and families. So it'll come via your email. It'll be on the announcements of the school website. It's typically on PK's social media and then also on the PK website under the Student and Family Services tab. Also, please just share these webinars. So if you found this to be helpful, you can share this webinar with other students and families and just get the word out. It just helps our PK community feel included in all of the information, and that's what we're always going for. And we're so grateful to be with you today, and we hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. All right.
Bye.
Bye.